Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch. If this is your first time here, my name is Jody. I love watches, even the ugly ones, and I would love it if you would subscribe to the channel by hitting the big button that says subscribe on it. I don't make this type of content all that often, if I'm being honest. I try not to get watches into the house that I'm then going to simply pick apart. But I feel this one is justified. I'm also well aware that beauty is indeed subjective. It is in the eye of the beholder after all. I might open this box and you might think, my God, Jody, that's an attractive looking watch. If you do, perhaps you better click on to the next video forthwith, because I'm going to say some less than complimentary things about this one. But I feel I have got every justification, having just paid 500 Australian dollars plus postage to get my hands on it. It arrived in my PO box this very morning. And I believe that fate brought this watch and I together. I had seen it advertised for sale about 4 months ago. I made the owner an offer, but somebody else got in before me. So when it popped up on the same Facebook watch buy, swap and sell group, I jumped at it. I wasn't gonna let this one get away from me for a second time. So, two things we have to answer today then. One, what is it? And two, why the f did I buy it? Let's flip the camera and find out. So have I taken leave of my senses, spending 500 Aussie dollars on something that I think is the world's ugliest watch? Well, if you are regular on the channel, you'll be aware that there is usually a bit of madness, but there's also usually some method at least to that madness. Let's see how this goes today then. So, what is it then? Let's do the big reveal. It is a Techno Marine. Now, some of you are sighing already because you know where this one is going. Techno Marine were a micro brand started in the mid-90s by a French entrepreneur aiming to make luxury timepieces. They began to struggle financially, and in 2015 they were sold to Invicta. Now, I don't Invicta bash on the channel. If that's your cup of tea, then you go for it. But this Techno Marine, not really something I would describe as aesthetically pleasing. Let's get into the box then, shall we? I mean, just look at that thing. What a monstrosity. So it would appear then that I am at least the third owner of this Techno Marine Black Reef Divers chronograph, with the previous two owners selling it in fairly short order. And having a look at the overall condition of it, I don't think they wore it much, and frankly I don't blame them. Quoted as 45mm in diameter, actually 48mm if you include those hideous and pointless rubber buffers attached to either side of the case. This watch is 18mm thick, making it the thickest watch I have ever reviewed on the channel. 53mm lug tip to lug tip. These integrated lugs mean it's impossible to swap it out for a sensible strap even if you wanted to. On the rubber strap, this one weighs in at 177 grams. I can only imagine the weight of it on the supplied alternative mesh strap, and I can only imagine because I'll never be bothering to find out. And it is a bit of an ogre to look at, isn't it? I mean, yellow, black and silver, not the worst colour scheme in the world, but there's just so much going on. Look at that bezel with the 55, the 45, the 35, the 25, unnecessarily printed into the black recesses there. And we've got some kind of multicoloured screw-down chrono pushers for an unknown reason as well. And I cannot stand a rubber strap that advertises the watch's features on it. 500 metres of water resistance, and again the hideous Techno Marine logo there, printed above the day date complication near the 3 o'clock and replicated on the hand of the 6 PM register. And then there are the indices. I mean, circular with kind of squared off nodules on the end for most of them, and yet there's 3 of them that are just little squares. Oh, it is really pretty awful. Take a look at that dial under macro. There is just so much going on. An unconvincing wave pattern that makes it just look like it's all a bit wonky. Hideous logo, too much colour in all the wrong places, dodgy indices, and look at that hour hand. Big scratches down the back of it, suggesting that not only is this watch really ugly, but it's also not that well put together in the first place. And on my Joe average 7-inch wrist, this watch wears exactly how you'd expect a 48mm diameter, 18mm thick, 177 gram watch to wear. Look at how much gap there is there because of the protrusion of the case back. It feels very bobbly and top heavy. At least the rubber strap is comfortable, I will give it that much. Zoomed out for perspective, I'm having difficulty telling the time due to the hideous number of additional complications on that dial. And it doesn't really fit me, let's be honest. So that's what it is then, a Technomarine Black Reef Divers chronograph that takes ugly to a whole new level. Why did I buy it? Well, I bought it because of this. That, my friends, is a Valjoux 7750 automatic chronograph movement. The highlight of the steaming turd that is the Technomarine Black Reef dive watch. Now, I looked on eBay and the cheapest brand new Valjoux 7750 that I could buy was going to cost me 700 Aussie dollars plus. Or I could buy this, have a bit of fun with it, and then junk it for the movement. And that's what I intend to do. About 6 months ago, I picked up what I think is a gorgeous, new old stock 1970s Swiss-made chrono case that takes the Valjoux 7750 movement. A much more wearable 40mm in diameter, less than 15mm thick, 22mm lug width, and I happen to have this gorgeous, handmade, hand-stitched black leather strap waiting to go. Now, interesting handset, little flash of colour here and there on these ones. Not sure whether I'll replace the white date wheel and day wheel of the Technomarine 7750 with black ones, or whether I'll just go with white. I also may end up staining these little stitches with some coffee just to bring the whole thing back down to a more subdued colour tone overall. But this is going to be my next major project. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to be brave enough to build it myself or whether I'm going to ship this one off to a watchmaker to have them complete it for me. Probably that would be the more sensible idea, especially given that I'm now several $100s into this project with nothing to show for it at the moment. So I don't consider this an act of horological vandalism, more an act of liberation. This poor movement came off the factory line in Switzerland with so much hope and enthusiasm for its life to come, and it ended up in the back of a Technomarine. So I feel I'm giving it a second chance by liberating it and putting it in the back of my project. So I may just have spent $500 on the world's ugliest watch, but I'm hoping I can eventually turn it into something beautiful. So there you have it. I bought the world's ugliest watch with the sole intention of pulling the 7750 out the back of it, liberating it from the Technomarine hideousness that engulfed it from the factory, and putting it in a much more attractive new old stock retro chrono package. Now, $500 is a lot of money to spend on a watch that you have no intention of ever wearing, but I hope there's some logic in there somewhere. Is this the ugliest watch you've ever seen? Leave me a comment if you can think of a bigger hoofer than this one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.